Today we're going to talk about what's new in 10.3. You'll find that there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So first of all, let me state that there are no major user interface changes, so please do not panic. This will go into effect in spring of 2015. This is the upgrade from 10.2 to 10.3. So let's talk a little bit about some global changes. The HTML editor is now a single editor in most places. This will be very helpful for some of our math professors. Your time formats and your quizzes are now in 30-minute increments. Before they were in minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Now they're only in 30-minute increments. The order of the buttons has changed in some areas. I'm talking about a floating toolbar that you'll see. And now insert stuff is now on the left rather than at the top, rather than on at the right on the top. First, we're going to show you, talk a little bit about roll switch. The roll switch now is at the very top. There will no longer be a widget needed. What you will see is you'll be able to use the tool, the pull down or the drop down menu, and you'll be able to change your view. Notice it says view as instructor here, and then all we have to do is select the change button. Then you can view it as a student. Again, this is not a true student view, so please be aware of that. If you do need a student's login, please contact the help desk and we'll be glad to create one of those for you. The next thing we're going to talk about is there's a floating table of contents. What that means is and when you go into content and you're in a module, there's an actual little bar right here that you'll be able to push out, which will look like this. So if we were in a module, we'll be able to go back up simply by using the arrows back and or forward. If you want to go back to the actual table of contents, you will click this, and that will take you back into content. The other thing we want to talk about is expanding and collapsing things. You can, students and instructors will also be able to collapse these. Please be sure that you're aware that they are collapsed. If you see a button like this and you see the items, you'll know that they're not collapsed. But if you see this, you'll know that it does. You can click on this and it'll just appear the same way it was previously. I'll talk a little bit about the floating command buttons. As you go into things, let's say Dropbox or discussions to set them up, this toolbar will appear at the right below here. It'll appear at the bottom, but it will move with the page. So it'll appear as if it is there all the time. So it's moving on into content. When you set up content, you can be working in a specific module, and then you can go out and go to assessments and then go back into content. Remember, it used to take you right back to where you were at the very beginning of content. Now this will take you right back to where you left off. So if you were working in module 9 and you were placing things in there, but you had to go out to assessments and set one up, when you click back on the word content, it's going to take you back into that module 9 that you were in previously. Now we are able to drag and drop content. Before we were able to drag and drop when we were to click the new and upload button. Now we can actually drag and drop the file into content itself without actually clicking on new and upload a new file, and I'll take you and show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. Now you also are able to notify students if you change any content. You will check this button at the bottom. It says notify students that the content has changed. You can also set the completion tracking if you wish for students. If you're paying attention to the tracking that students are using, reset completion tracking if you've changed content might be very helpful for you. Talk a little bit about quizzes. This is a major change that's happened for quizzes. Instead of having the layout questions tab at the very top, you now have this add and edit questions button right on the properties tab in the very first one that you will click on to see. You can set up the questions here as you have previously. There is a new assessments tab. From here you'll be able to add your grade item add your grade item here. Add any rubrics that you have, and set your attempts. Make sure that if you're going to have a grade item, make sure to check the button to allow automatic grades to export to the gradebook and allow attempts to be graded immediately upon completion if you choose for your students to be able to see those. Submission views. This is something that's a little bit new. We're going to be able to limit the duration of time that the students actually can view their quiz after they have taken it, and this will be immediately after they've taken it. There is a box that you'll check, so you'll have to go into add an additional view as we have in the past, set up your date and your time, but then this is the limited duration. So this will limit the amount of time in minutes for which they're able to view the quiz immediately after it's been submitted, but this will have to be set up prior to anyone taking your test. A little bit about Dropbox. From Dropbox, the students will now be able to view rubrics before submitting and after submitting their items. This will also be true for discussions. Evaluate non-submissions in the Dropbox. So the students must still submit something, but if they end up sending you the wrong one and you have to and they email you the correct one, you actually can evaluate that and place a grade on that item that will take it back to the grade book. So let's talk a little bit about discussions. The biggest thing about discussions is they've reorganized the look and feel of this. We will lose grid view, but not only for a short period of time, but you may actually like this view a little bit better. What you're going to be able to do, notice here, this is my forum, so you will have to have a forum again before you place a topic in the discussion. Then this is the actual topic under discussions here. But notice here, it's very quick. I can see how many unread, how many replies, and how many views. And I can also see who the last one was and when that was actually done. So when I click on and I go into the discussions bar here, it'll actually show me from the student's view, or for the students, how many topics they've actually replied to and posted. The other thing about discussions is before, or previously, in our previous version, we were able to set up to allow users they must start an original thread before they can read or post to others. Now this can be set at the forum level, and this will apply to all topics below. If you are not sure that you are going to want them to start a thread before reading every one of them in the forum, you can still do this at the topic level if you wish. Okay. So the improved discussions list is focusing more on the conversation and not the overhead. It provides a high-level information in a less cluttered manner, which is what I was showing you. So you can see the unread post, or the unread, and then the read posted, and then the views. You'll also be able to quickly scan down the columns to see which topics have been unread or unapproved, and dive into the conversation with a single click, and I'll show you that in just a few moments. You can hide topics. Again, you want to be very careful of hiding things. If you hide them, make sure that you're aware that they're hidden. If not, you won't be able to see them anymore. There is a new rating system. We have a 5-star rating system, which instructors can now set up, and then an up and down vote. So click up to increase the rating and down to decrease the rating. The vote up scheme only is click to increase the post rating. That's 0 is down and 1 is up. Along with the new voting scheme, there is a new tool called statistics. Now you'll be able to, again, read this from a student's view. You'll be able to see how many they've read, how many they've posted to, and how many replies they've made. You'll also be able to see if you've got a voting, how they've voted up, down, or scored on the 5-star rating. Just as an FYI, Desire to Learn is now named D2L, and their integrated learning platform is called Brightspace by D2L. So if you do hear Brightspace by D2L, they are still talking about our learning management system, D2L. Armstrong will continue to refer to this as Armstrong's e-classroom. And that's about it. So see, it's not as bad as some might think it is. I will take you in now and show you what some of these things look like. As you can tell, this is our main home page, so it does not, we have not got any changes here. I'll take you into a course and we'll show you the roll switch. Roll switch will be done up here. You'll change it here. It shows you that you can change it to a student. Content. Take content here, and I'm in a module, and I actually can take and drag and drop a piece of content here. So I'm going to find a piece of content, and I'll grab it from here, pull, and I'm looking for the gray bar and drop it. Okay, this says that I already have this document, so I want to automatically update the same file with the same name, so I hit upload. That means it just comes directly. It's done, so notice it places it right here. The upload is still available, so if you were comfortable with the new and upload, you can still go through this way also. Talking a little bit about assessments when we go into quizzes and we set up the quizzes. And you'll notice here, notice the floating toolbar right here. But here under the Properties tab is the Add and Edit Questions. When we go to set this up, we'll go to Assessment here. Okay. Restrictions is where we will still, as we have before, set up the time and the date. You click here. Notice, watch this. Notice it's 9:30, 10, 10:30. So you'll either be starting your quizzes on the hour or on the half hour. And then under submission views, if you choose to, what we're going to do is we will add an additional view. And here is where you'll find to limit the duration. Okay. Once you do limit the duration, make sure that this, remember this is defaulted to no. Please make sure that you click yes and indicate what you wish for the students to be able to see. Otherwise, when it is defaulted to no, so the students won't be able to see anything at all. Okay. Discussions. So go into discussions here. This would be my forum. I apologize. This would be my forum. This would be my topic. So I click on week. Notice I do have the up and down rating here. So it can be up and down rated. This is actually has to be clicked on one more time so I can read what needs to happen with our students. Talking a little bit about, go back up to view topic, and then discussions list. So if I go to my statistics tab here, you'll see that I can see student 1. Well, across here I can see how many replies and how many he's read. Click on student 1 and it takes me in, again, shows me exactly what they've done. Okay, this is from the forum level here, and then this is the discussion level here. Okay. Again, this Dropbox students will be able to view their rubrics before and after. And we also still have Turnitin, so none of this has changed. There are no actual major course tool changes, so everything will be as it was in the past. If you have questions, you always know to contact the help desk. It's helpdesk@armstrong.edu via email or by phone at 912-344-2518. And that is everything. Thank you.